pace laps before the wreck. Yeah, I got some video left to give out. It might take me a while. Yep, we'll do the 2 and then we'll come around on the second one. Alright, buddy. Alright, thanks, man. Kenneth Redinger. Matthew Fritz. Matthew Fritz is the point.
I'm here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only because I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, 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 no. Oh, oh, tonight we're stars, but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up. Oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up. Oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down. So we'll
are the place where the toughest drivers will come to race from far and wide. But just who are we? We are the Pit Stall Racing Series.
Hello everybody, welcome in to the NOMA Superspeedway Series. Tonight we are at the fastest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. Big intimidating track. Drivers finishing up practice right now. Robert Duvendak getting ready to get the win tonight. You see him practicing his burnouts in that 99 car. Hope everybody out there is having a good night so far. If you missed anything from our last broadcast, you can go catch it or go watch it back rather. It was the Truck Series. Kenneth Riedinger got the win in that. Did get the win last week as well in the Superspeedway Series. He's going to be looking to go back-to-back, not only from his truck win, but also from his win last week in the Superspeedway Series. Kenneth right here. A lot of different aspects to these plate tracks and what we saw at Kentucky in the trucks. Evens the playing field out a lot. Some of the guys we may not have saw as players in that race, we are going to certainly see tonight. With about just under a minute left here in practice. Going to have a 5-minute single car qualifying run. And then we are going to run 2 pace laps tonight. We'll make sure we remind you that before we get started. As everybody knows, if you're watching it here, it's because unfortunately Bobby from Max Speed TV is not here. He will be back hopefully as soon as next week. We are just here filling in for the time being. Something about the super speedways, though, always makes it a little bit more exciting to commentate. The action, you know, is going to be from the drop of the green all the way through till the checkered flag. You won't really see these guys spread out. Sometimes if you get a really dominant team and they can find a rhythm, they can pull away a little bit, but just don't usually see that here. What we do see here, though, is the big wrecks, and I think we will see a couple of them tonight. Everybody always fears the ever-looming big one. We see it Talladega and Daytona. I think we are going to definitely probably see that tonight. White flag is out. That is going to wrap up practice. Topping the board is going to be Robert Duvendak in the 99. Second, looks like it's going to J.R. Johnson. Third, Joey Hickox. We'll see who can get out here. Run the fastest lap. Always felt like it was the best place to be if you can start up at the front of these races. Keeps you from having to worry about getting involved in a big wreck early most of the time. Not always the case, though. Looks like Josh Vega is going to be the first car out on track here. We'll go take a look at what kind of lap he can put down. Got a teammate here in Mark Vega. Looks like the Manny Reyes Mafia is watching. The NOMA SS Series, of course, presented to you by Manny Reyes. Great series, great drivers. Some of the best racing you'll see around. Xfinity Series usually able to provide the best racing. Cars drive a little bit faster than the trucks, a little bit more stable. That means a lot more push and a lot more aggression. Only thing sometimes have to worry about with these cars is it is a lot harder to get these things woed up. Get it into pit road. And we know we are going to see some pit stops tonight. We'll see if it plays a factor. We do have the track map up for you there in the top right. You see the car going around it. It is a big track, ladies and gentlemen. It takes about 3/4, a little bit over actually, about 50 seconds-ish, a little bit, maybe a second under of a minute to get around this giant 2.66 mile oval super speedway. These cars by themselves get up in the 180s. Once they have draft, they can get up into the 190s. Fast track, called the fastest in NASCAR. You see how much runoff room there is on the inside. They eat that up quick if they get turned around on the backstretch. And in the turns, nowhere to go. You'll see cars slide up all night, pile up. But right now, we're watching the 42 of Josh Vega hug that yellow line. That's what you want to do here. Trying to get the fastest qualifying lap possible. And he actually won't quite stay on it, because he's not setting his fast lap this lap. I think he's going to try to set it next lap. We'll have to see. The other strategy, though, that does play into this is a lot of people, if you know the basics of super speedway qualifying, you will hug that yellow line around the turns. However, when you come out of the turn, you don't want to quite stick right on it. As you see Josh topping the board. First car going to get passed by, that is Carl Lingo, rather, excuse me. Carl takes over the pole. Now it's going to go to Tyler Clemis. See if we can get anybody that is just getting on the track here. How about Chris Akers? Driver out of Virginia. Fast looking for Reese's car. But sometimes you don't want to run the yellow off exit into the corner, or out of the corner, excuse me. Because sometimes you do that, scrubs off just about half a mile an hour. Just that little bit can cost you a tenth at tracks like this. So what they'll go ahead and do is off of exit, they'll wash up just a little bit to that first white line sometimes. Just depends on your driving style. And that'll keep you from losing that extra mile an hour. And then once you get into this travel, we see a lot of guys, what they like to do too is dive below this yellow line. Haven't seen anyone do it just yet, but now we see the 4. Chris Akers is going to do it. Hug that grass as tight as he can. Looks like he is going to slide just back on track. That looked like a pretty fast lap. We'll see where it puts him on the board. And sure enough, ladies and gentlemen, your new pole sitter right now is going to go to Chris Akers. And that fast lap is always going to be the first one. Now it switches back again to Maverick. So a joke from Maverick last time. He said he was looking for anybody else to join, I believe, his team Top Gun. J.R. Johnson, Gainesville, Georgia. Pulls that 73 car to a stop. We got just about a minute left here in qualifying. Let's take a look at Danny Eshelman. Robert E. Morrison did take second. Mark Vega did take over third on the board. And we do have a big field tonight, as we always do in these NOMA Superspeedway races. We did see 25 cars for the trucks. You're going to see a lot more than that tonight, over 30, if not 40. But we will know more once we actually grid up and get going. Randy Bonomi going to pull it to a stop. Matthew Fritz. How about the winner of the season opener, the Manny Rays 188? Driver of the 48 got the victory there. Talked to him in victory lane, was excited about it. I believe this might be part of the Manny Rays Mafia. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they seemed really excited when he got the win, and you see it on the side of his car and on the back there. With 7 seconds left in qualifying, he is not going to be able to complete this lap. Shouldn't have to worry, though, too much. Super speedway racing, sometimes the pole doesn't, usually the pole actually doesn't determine where you're going to finish. And that is going to wrap up qualifying. Let's take some of these things down and get ready to grid the field up. Flagman, get ready. The fans in the stands getting their last minute bush lights. Let's wait till everybody grids up before we actually get the grid on here. And here we go. We're going to get them. Let's get it going here. You guys know where we're at. We'll talk about it in your race info. Remember, we're not going to go green on lap 1. We are going to run an extra pace lap. But starting tonight on the pole, and again, if I pronounce some of these last names wrong, I do apologize. Looks like it is going to be Maverick Baird. Starting second to his outside is going to be Robert E. Morrison. Third place is going to go to Sean Wilder. Fourth, Mark A. Vega. Fifth place, Max Speed TV driver Chris Akers. To his outside in row 3 is Tyler Clemis. Seventh is going to be Alex Giffen. Eighth, Jay Stinson. That's a Hickox Motorsports driver. Ninth is J.R. Johnson. 10th place, Joey Hickox, another Hickox Motorsports driver. 11th is going to be Danny Eshelman. 12th is going to go to Robert Duvendak in the 99. 13th, Ronnie Morrison. 14th, Jeff Carl. 15th, Randy Bonomi. 16th is going to go to Carl Lingle. Making up row 9 to the inside is Tyler Hurt. His outside, Joseph Fogg. 19th, Todd Poston. 20th is going to go to J.R. Schomber, I believe it is. 21st, John Bell. 22nd, Rodney Roberts. 23rd is going to be week 1 winner, rather, Matthew Fritz. 24th, Josh Vega. 25th, DJ Madish. 26th, Frank Ranger Jr. 27th, Robert Jordan. 28th, Kenneth Riedinger, winner of the Kentucky race just the other night. 29th is going to go to Justin Parham. 30th, Ambrose Kniebel. 31st, Edward Smith. 32nd, Scott D. Collins. 33rd, Adam Kilday. 34th, Guy Braco. 35th, Kyle C. Clark. 36th is going to go to James Scamordella. And 37th, rounding out the field tonight, is going to be Adam Kolakowski in the 45 car. Go back up front. A lot of stuff to talk about throughout this race. Can't get to all of it just yet. But remember, something unique this year to the Super Speedway Series. Ambrose Kniebel did put up a sponsorship for the cleanest driver, and it's really helped the racing so far. You heard the command right there. Not going green this time. We are going to run that extra pace lap. Let's talk about your race info. We are at Talladega Superspeedway. The NOMA Superspeedway Series presented by Manny Rays. It's the pit stall 186. Going to be a 70-lap race tonight. Fuel is 80%. We're in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 1 faster pair, unlimited tires, and no stages this year as well. Remember, the start-finish line here at Talladega is a little bit farther than it is at Daytona. And that definitely plays a role in these finishes. You can make your move later, and that top lane has a chance to get that run that we always see on the straightaways. Daytona, if you're on that inside coming into the trial, we usually have a better chance than you do here at Talladega, and it's also a lot wider, so 3 wide is definitely going to happen. We might even see some 4 wide tonight. Let's give a shout out again to Maverick, your pole sitter. I'll give another quick shout out here to a driver back here, and that's Sean Wilder. Sean actually was that part of that commercial, if you will, that you guys saw before. We'll be playing it again later. But for the Pit Stall Racing Series, I believe it is called. Like I said, I'll verify later. But that series, told me, has been kind of started a new series, giving prizes to drivers. They race around, win prizes. It's grown over the years into a very good series. And it's actually it's a Facebook group. The Pit Stall, that is. So you can go join that if you'd like. Can actually try to get you the description here in the chat real quick before we move on to anything else. Actually copy this over. There you go. You have it in the chat right there if anybody's looking to join that. Sean Wilder did post it. Facebook group of sim racers. Go race for some prizes. Got a lot of attention over the years, getting bigger by the day. So who do you guys think is going to win tonight? I think there's some drivers with some momentum, some with not, but we know how quickly that can change and how chaotic these super speedway races can be. And I don't really know. If you start in the back, I think maybe you decide to fall back right here. Play it safe early. But if you're at this front, I think you want to keep it. They're not going to be able to make it all the way on fuel. 100% gives you about 35 to 36 laps, so at 80%... try to see what that would be on the calculator real quick as well. Do 36 times 0.8, so I'm thinking the fuel window might be somewhere between 25 and 30. That's how many laps these drivers should be getting, that is. Pull the tower up for you there on your left. You see it. It's going to be a 70-lap event. This extra caution lap, if you were curious, was to give some of these drivers the EOLs from the penalties that ensued last week. It looks like Adam is currently not on the track, driver that was starting last. Guy Braco is the last car in the field right now, starting in 36 rather. And we did see quite a bit of cautions last time we were here at Daytona. Not sure exactly how last week went, but some of these guys that like to run up front still think if they're not up here right now, they might try to be conservative, knowing that that money's on the line at the end of the season for the driver with the least amount of incident points. Robert E. Morrison in the 43 is going to be having Mark Vega trying to push him to the lead on the backstretch. Sean Wilder is going to be trying to keep that 111 Maverick out front. Toyota versus Chevy. You see it there on the tower. The mix of manufacturers we got in the field. Chevy dominated field, throwing a couple Toyotas and a Ford here and there, and that'll make it up for tonight. Field now rolling into the Geico restart zone. Starter awaiting the drop. Green flag is out. We're racing here in the NOMA Superspeedway Series. Maverick gets a pretty good start. You see the 43 Robert E. Morrison wasn't quite able to hang with him. Backstretch usually going to be the most important factor this first lap. The 8. That's Mark Vega. Gets right to the bumper. Gives him a little shot. The 91 Sean Wilder is going to be clear here. We'll see if he decides to make a move with it. He's going to have Chris Akers pushing on his bumper. Don't know if both of them can jump up. Looks like they do. And sure enough, there goes the 91 Sean Wilder. He gets followed by Chris Akers further back. Looks like we saw maybe a thought to 3 wide. They think better of it. Sean Wilder gets the lead. We'll see if he decides to drop down as they roar into turn 3. The 43 Robert E. Morrison's going to take the lead on the inside. The 91 Sean Wilder still holding up top nice and strong. Further back we see Robert Duvendak in the 99. Dart out of line for just a moment. No help. Going to have to settle back down where he's at. The 8 Mark Vega jumps to the top lane. 3 wide in the tribal. We'll see if he gets help. The 56. Who is he going to go with? That's Tyler Clemis. Mark's got to be careful here. If he can't get back in line, he's going to have to fall all the way to the back. He is going to get some help, though, from Jay Stinson and Robert Duvendak. Robert E. Morrison still holding everybody in check on the bottom. That middle lane really hasn't formed up. Looked like it was going to. Then we saw these 3 cars all get together on the outside and really start to get going. How much do you want to be in the front here? Early restart's important at non-superspeedway and superspeedway tracks. You can make up positions here until they get 3 wide. Then it gets a lot harder to do. Who will risk it, take it 4 wide later? I don't think we'll see any of that now. 3 wide, not too hard to do here. Pretty much the equivalent of 2 wide at Talladega, so that's why we're seeing it now. They're riding that absolute top lane. There's 3 cars being led by the 8. I thought they'd make a little bit more ground by now. They just really haven't been able to. Don't count them out, though, just yet. Still very early in the going right now. The 4 of Chris Akers. He's a really good pusher. If you're looking for somebody for security in your back end, that's who you're going to want right there. The 4, he knows how to push. He can push you real aggressive, get you to the front. You can't really push in the corners with these. If you're real careful and steady with it, you can bump just a little bit. You see it maybe just a tiny bit right there with the 2 max speed teammates, Sean Wilder, Chris Akers. As much as you work together with your teammates at tracks like these, you kind of start to learn their line. You kind of get a feel for where they're going to go, what they're going to do. This top lane now with 4 cars. The 8 of Mark Vega has finally crawled his way all the way up to the front. If he can get clear of that 91, what does he decide to do? Does he drop down? Does he stay up top? Let's look a little farther back. Some of the rest of the field here. It's like this is taking a look at Carl Lingle here. The 30 car running 25th. Adam Kilday. Justin Parham, we saw him real strong run in the truck series at Kentucky. About Scott D. Collins back here in 32nd. A lot of drivers falling off of the main pack for now. They should be able to catch up if they all line up, especially right here. This is 4 cars. You really only need 3 as long as you guys all run tight. They will be able to catch up if they choose. You look at the track map, though. If it decides to pull up for us, looks like it's not going to right now. Let's go back a little bit towards the middle where we see Randy Bonomi. Right in front of him is Joey Hickox. Right in front of Joey is where all the 3 wide chaos starts. I will have to ask you guys that are watching real quick just for me, because we're still working on a couple things with video quality. Let me know how it looks for you. We did enable motion blur. This is a pretty big field to use it with. So let me know if the video looks like it's running pretty smooth or if it's not. Oh, we do have one on the wall. Caution is out. Oh, this is going to collect a bunch of them. Joey Hickox. Oh, no, that's the 30, actually. Excuse me. Jay Stinson, however, is in at 56, slides down to the grass. The 22, big damage. First caution of the night. And I'll tell you what, nothing annoys me more than when I miss it. Checking the stats for just a second, I look down. Man, oh man. All right, let's go see what happens here to bring out the first yellow flag of the night. Oh, Jay Stinson already knocked out of line. You see some damage actually on the... Oh, he's going to get knocked out of line further back. Play this slow. Didn't see it there, so hold on. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to chopper view so we can find where this first starts. I think it was with Jay, so let's actually go to Jay now. So I'm pretty sure this starts somewhere with him. Let's see what happens here. The 13 goes up. 42 comes out. Oh, Jay touches the wall. The 42 is going to try to go 4 wide below him. Oh, you see him burp the throttle, but can't slow down enough. That hooks the 13. 13 comes down, hooks the 56. And this is where they're going to start piling up now. Those two hit the wall pretty hard. 56, maybe not too bad. Jay, however. And now they're just going to start piling up. A lot of guys nowhere to go. The 48, that's Matthew Fritz. Winner of week 1. Nowhere to go. Locks it up. It's going to get into the back of the 42. That's pretty decent damage. And we had some drivers further back in it, waiting for them to arrive on the scene now. There's the 22 with that big contact. Big contact for the 22. That's a fast pair. The 30, that's Carl Lingle. Nowhere to go. This takes out a lot of them. Early wreck here sometimes can dictate the flow of the night. Hopefully not the case. Let's go back up front, though, where your new current leader is Sean Wilder in the 91. He had been leading up front, but he was battling a lot of guys. And actually, now it's showing Danny Eshelman in the lead. Oh, we did have pit stops. Silly me yet. That is what we guys just went down the pits here. We'll see who wins the battle out. Busy place. A little surprised, but I know there's no stages. That might be why when we did see the stages, I don't think you would have seen anybody except the damaged cars decide to come down pit road for now. Because track position is really key at tracks like this where it takes a lot of time to get back to the front. Everybody being nice and careful to get off pit road clean. I guess if you can take 4 tires, helps you out. You don't have to worry about taking them later. You can just top off on fuel. Green flag stops. You want to make sure you get in cleanly. And if you have to worry about taking less stuff than the rest of the field, you can get in a lot smoother. Nancy Hickox does say the clarity was good. I was able to see the smoke and then the wreck. Thank you, Nancy. Just want to make sure it looks good for everybody. If all of a sudden it starts to look a little laggy or anything, just let me know. Appreciate that a lot. How about Danny Eshelman up here? Started a little bit further back. Here he is, stayed out, gets himself up here. Ambrose Kniebel, driver out of Gold Bar, Washington, alive and running suicide awareness and prevention. Ambrose has a couple pretty nice paint schemes. If you're looking for a driver with a little bit of a different trophy case, Ambrose has got you covered on that. Frank Ranger Jr., Lakeland, Georgia, sitting back here in the 17 W car. Getting ready to go. We should be going green next time. The pace car lights are still on. Once those go off, that does mean 1 to go. Everybody looked pretty clean. Remember that caution that came out, it wasn't really necessarily anything anybody did that was wrong by. It was really obvious. Just little mistakes like that at tracks like these can be so unforgiving. 42, he burped the throttle. He was trying to get out of it just a little bit too late. Couldn't slow down in time, and we can actually see how they're doing now. Josh Vega. Oh, you hate to see that for Josh. That car is destroyed. He's got right side damage. No hood, no front. Jay Stinson's going to try to get it back out here. I'll be honest. I know Jay was hoping to conserve that faster pair, but with that much damage, I think he's going to have to use it. Tyler Clemis. Damage maybe not too bad on his car. Kenneth Riedinger, winner of the Truck Series, looks like he's got his car ready to go. Let's go back up front. Robert Miller says, great picture tonight. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Got 17 people in here tonight watching the NOMA drivers go at it. We appreciate you all coming out. I know the drivers certainly enjoy it. Whenever I'm out there in a race, it always makes me feel good to know that people like watching it. Alex Giffen here in the 09. I think, These drivers getting a little bit more excited knowing that the actual Daytona 500 is coming up in real life shortly. What a great time to be around the sim racing community. NOMA, one of the best around. Presented by Manny Rays. Got a couple people in here. Owners of different groups. One of those was Sean Wilder, who was your current leader. Has fallen back for now, but I think we will see him back up here. No time. Todd Poston back here in the 32. We are getting ready to go green. We'll be trying to get some in-race interviews here in a little bit. Thought about maybe getting one under this caution, but it's just a little too early right now. Maybe we'll wait till we get till about halfway, or if we have a late caution even, talk to some of these drivers. And then, of course, after the race, we will be interviewing your top 3. Tyler Hurt. Going to be starting on the outside. Pushing him is going to be, looks like I got that mixed up for just a second. This is actually going to be pushed by Frank Ranger. I thought for a second it was Sean Wilder, but I was like, I know I saw him on the inside. And I think these two, the 91 and the 4, remember these are teammates right here, Chris Akers and Sean. They might be trying to jump to the top. Ambrose Knievel, not one of those max speed drivers. He's got his own team. Pace car is going to pull off. Who's going to get the win tonight? We still got a long ways to go. Almost at lap 10. Danny Eshelman's going to have to get a good jump here. Ambrose Knievel, a very, very good pusher. But that outside lane sure is hard to fight off on that first lap. Green flag is back out. Ambrose Knievel doesn't get the best jump, but Danny Eshelman sure does. Behind him right now, it's going to be a drag race. Who's going to get to his bumper first? Looks like the 04 starting to get around. That outside kind of fell apart. I thought maybe they would get it. But you see on the blimp cam, no run from the outside. Here comes the 91. Sean Wilder's going to get help from his teammate Chris Akers. Down the backstretch, it's going to be a tandem battle. The outside locked up a lot more. Here comes the 91. Can he get clear? Ambrose just now makes it to the bumper. The 91's going to get clear, no problems. Trying to bring his teammate in the 4. Looks like he's going to. We'll see what they decide to do. They stay high for the moment. I thought maybe they would drop down, but the momentum has been sticking with the top so far tonight, and they're going to keep it there. Nicely done job of pushing there by Chris Akers. You saw him slightly locked on throughout the corner, out of 4 specifically. Through the tri-oval. First lap led back under green is going to go to Sean Wilder. Didn't take him long to get back to the front. Did it. Back in third, your pole sitter, Maverick. He's got Robert Duvendak behind him. Danny Eshelman now finally starting to recover on the inside. How long will it take him to get back up there? Will the 91 try to jump to the inside? Something that I haven't seen too much in some of these NOMA Superspeedway races. But you do see him in some Superspeedway races is when you get a couple teammates up here, they'll actually try to split. Keep both lanes in check. Kind of dominate the field, if you will. But not seeing that right now. And I like what this 91's doing. Who better to have behind you than your teammate? And it still is just such a nice looking, a beautiful sight to see it. How nicely the 4 is linking up to the back bumper of that 91. To know that he can get to the back bumper. Oh, and it looks like went 3 wide for a moment. Cuts his brake. A teammate, Robert Duvendak, isn't having any of it, though. He's going to jump to the outside. No help yet for the 99. We'll see if he can get any. Now here comes Mark Vega. He's going to draft up off the middle lane. Now he jumps up top. Looks like they are coming up on a lap car here. We can figure out who this is pretty quickly. Let me go down. It looks like this is going to be Josh Vega. No, this is not Josh Vega. This is going to be Tyler Hurt. This might get a little dicey. We just saw Tyler up there, so not sure what exactly happened. But let's go back up front. See how this gets. They're going to go 3 wide. Shouldn't be a problem here at Talladega, but you always get just a little bit nervous going around a lap car in general. Tyler, though, does a really nice job of keeping his car straight up there out of the way of the field. And we have now completed 12 of the 70 laps here tonight. The outside still showing the advantage. Haven't seen the 3 wide that we saw in that first run, though, so far yet. And this pack is a lot smaller than what we saw earlier as well. Let's look at how spread out some of these guys are getting. Looks like the last driver in this pack is James Scamordella. And then the driver leading this second pack is going to be Todd Poston, driver out of Chester, Virginia. And he does have a pretty good line of cars behind him. They are all single file. A couple damaged cars in there. Looks like Robert E. Morrison's in that. The 98, Chef Carl. So this pack should be able to catch that front pack if they really want to. Let's see, looks like we do have a couple more packs further back. Go back up here and actually see which was the last car in it. Robert E. Morrison. So it looks like Robert Jordan's the last one in that pack. Then you have Guy Brako by himself, Randy Bonomi. He's got Matthew Fritz, winner of week 1 with him, Jay Stinson. That car's all tore up. Let's see the speeds that Jay's running right now with that much damage. He does have a little bit of drafting help. 181, yeah, it's a lot. That car's really under a lot of stress right now. Still impressed at how fast it is able to run with that much damage. You got to think about how much he's hurting on aero. Air not really sure where to go. Can't go around that car. It's got to go through it. Slowing him down. We do see 3 wide up front now. Chris Akers going to take his teammate 3 wide on the outside. Robert Duvendak was leading it. 4 jumps up top. That's going to put Max Speed TV drivers 1-2 in the middle and top lane. But on the bottom, Danny Eshman now has the advantage. Think he's going to stay down there with Ambrose Knievel behind him. That bottom hasn't had to push as hard to keep their progress. But now with Chris Akers no longer on the bumper of his teammate, can the 111 of Maverick keep him up front in that middle? Top starting to fade back. The back stretch is usually where the top really starts to get some speed. Will the 91 eventually jump high? I think Chris may have done that. He was starting to get a little hot. As long as he's pushing his teammate. These cars do heat up a lot quicker than the trucks. They don't cool down too quick either, so you got to be careful with your temps. And this pack in the back, I think, likes what they're seeing. We can actually take a look from this back car real quick, as they are 3 by 3 out of 4. And back car in this pack is going to be Scott Collins, excuse me. And it looks like Todd Poston is catching the gap right now, about 3.25 seconds. That gap is closing at a pretty good rate, ladies and gentlemen, 2 to 4 tenths a lap. And now we see the 111 Maverick going to drop in front of Danny Eshelman. That inside, not holding too strong. Sean Wilder waiting for a push from the 2 of J.R. Schomburg. Still 3 by 3. Everybody got to be a little careful here. Chris Akers going to get clear of the middle now. Drops in front of his teammate. These two are going to switch up who's pushing who for a little bit. Sean Wilder probably no problem right now. Returning the favor to his teammate up top, though. Mark Vega is going to try to get last year's champion Robert Duvendak to the front. The bottom is your pole sitter still, Maverick Baird. And that middle lane has just been so strong. If I had to pick 2 guys that I'd want behind me right now, I think it's going to be that 4 and 91. Robert Duvendak, though, and Mark Vega have pushed a couple of them to the lead. Now the 4 Chris Akers drops to the bottom line. Opens it back up to Sean Wilder. Let's note some of these other drivers in this pack. Got Alex Giffen in the 09, just sitting here in the middle of it, playing it safe. No need to push from where he is. Actually, I think I would say he probably does need to get up there. What you want to do if you're that 3rd car in line, not necessarily push, but your job is mainly to stay up on that 2nd car's bumper so he can push. Looks like we got the 19 here. This is James Scamordella. How about Kyle Clark? Haven't talked about Kyle at all tonight either, but he's doing a nice job up here in that lead pack in the Toyota Supra. This looks like a prime hydration scheme. I'll tell you what, I like that. I had me one of those earlier today. Frank Ranger Jr., Scott Collins. Last 2 drivers in the pack. Looks like Collins does have a little bit of damage. This might be why he's falling back a little bit. But Todd Poston, they have closed up the gap. It is under 2 seconds. Almost 1.5 seconds. So they're just about in the draft. And once they get in it, you can forget about it. They will crawl up to this pack in an absolute hurry. See if we can actually see it here from TV3. Look in the background here. You'll watch this main pack fly by further back. That single file pack. They're moving. Nancy Hickox did say in the chat, don't forget that like button. Absolutely. If you guys enjoy what you're seeing tonight, it helps us out a lot to know you guys appreciate it. Manny Ray's Mafia in here watching, rooting for some of their drivers. The top lane's starting to fade, though. Robert Duvendak still pushing the 91. Mark A. Vega maybe had to cool that car off a little bit. The bottom starting to show dominance with Chris Akers and the 111 of Maverick Baird. Still side by side further back, though. We got about 3 rows of 3 wide right now. And all this action has still continued to let this backpack being led by Todd Poston catch up. Let's see what it's at now. I did make a mistake because I was looking at the wrong driver. Gap is actually 3 seconds. From what I can see here between Todd Poston and Frank Ranger Jr., who is that last car in this pack. However, that gap has closed, though, still, nonetheless. And they could run a pretty good amount of time on fuel. Remember, we think the fuel window is somewhere between 25 to 30. Ambrose Knievel does jump to the middle. But with that being the fuel window, these guys will have a green flag run for a little while. You want to get with your teammates, though, for the pit stop. If everybody can execute on and off pit road, that's how you can win these races. Cautions become a little bit less likely as everybody starts to spread out. And Ambrose is going to see if he can get this group going on the top lane. Danny Eshelman going to try to push him all the way up there, but Chris Akers, Maverick Baird still holding strong. Sean Wilder has fallen back a little bit in this 91 machine. Right in front of him now is J.R. Johnson in the 73. The one of Ronnie Morrison still holding low. Sean looks like he's moving around trying to get up to 27. Kyle Clark, he's slowly moving his way through the field here. Well, let's see if this pack that was being led by Todd Poston is still single file. Sure enough, ooh, and they are just about there. The gap is now accurately 2.2 seconds. You see just how close they're getting. You probably see them in the same camera view. On the backstretch, at least. In the same 2 turns. This front group finally starting to organize. They may have realized how quick this back group was catching them, but I don't think it's going to matter now. That back group, once you get in a rhythm, everybody kind of knows what the other person's doing. They start pushing harder and harder. And if you want a good view of it here, we're going to give you one through the pit lane cam. Really shows you just how much the gap is closing up. We'll watch them come flying by here, and they are coming up on a couple lap cars here. 2x2 shouldn't be too big of an issue. That's big damage up top. I believe one of those is Josh Vega. There's that second group. Like a freight train coming through. And once they get there, they're going to try to go right around the outside. We'll see if anybody tries to block or go with them. But Todd Poston has done a nice job holding a straight line. Credit his pusher. Justin Parham, Kenneth Riedinger. Those are 3 really fast drivers to line up. The rest of the field following their lead. Joseph Fogg, Jeff Carl, Edward Smith, John Bell, DJ Madish. He may have fallen back just to see how this pack would play out. And knowing that they can execute, if we get a caution late, we'll see if they decide to do the same strategy. I think if I get up here now, I kind of want to stay up here. Remember, we did go green just before we hit 10 laps in this thing. That makes me think pit stops might be coming up somewhere in the 30s. So lap 30-something is when I think we might see some people pit, and they don't know if they'll quite be good on fuel. I guess we'll know once we see them pit. I don't think that will be our only caution tonight, which should be pretty cool, though. Green flag pit stop's going to be a difficult task, though. That could draw a caution. Everybody's going to have to get in nice and clean, but the 8 of Mark Vega has caught the draft now of this front pack. Todd Poston still pushing him. Or Todd Poston, rather. Going to go around him. Got to be careful here. It did pull away from that front group. These 3 are absolutely locked up. But if they start getting side by side too long with the 8 here, might lose that draft again. But they're going to go right around the 24 Kenneth Riedinger. Oh, not quite going to be able to slide in line. Looks like Mark Vega is going to cut him a break. Gets him in line. They know what their goal is. They're trying to get all the way up here as quick as they can. Let's do a little NOMA Superspeedway Series. Crank it up. Here we go. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy that. Up top, the 09's getting a big push from Robert Duvendek. That's Alex Giffen trying to take the lead. The 32, Todd Poston, Sean Wilder, also in that third lane trying to make it happen. On the bottom, though, still being held by Chris Akers. Ambrose Knievel gets cleared as he decided to drop down. Can't quite do it. 3x3 here on lap 25, not even halfway through. But you wouldn't know it. You would think we're within 5 to go with the way these guys are going at it. Oh, the 27. Fifth car back on the inside. Tried to slide up. Wasn't quite clear. Had to drop back down. That got really close. And what we saw was 2 packs turned back into 1. And what we still see is 2 packs. We have another group now that might also catch up. Let's see who this is being led by. Looks like it's going to be Joseph Fogg. He's got all these guys in line there also trying to catch this main pack. And if they can, we're going to have most of the field up here in this main pack. Looks like it would make up a 26-car lead pack. Decent amount of drivers here with their issues. Joey Hickox. Haven't said much about Joey tonight. Usually he would be running towards the front. Right now, not the night he's looking for. He's going to need a caution. Tyler Hurt. Tyler Clemus. Both looking for a caution. Currently, Josh Vega, looks like he did get his lap back. But Adam Kulikowski is the only driver a lap down from what the scoring shows right now. Back up front, though, still 3x3. Chris Akers on the bottom. That top lane started to fall again. It seems like they can hold some momentum for a little bit, but not as long as they would like. That could be important to note later in this race. Do you go to the top lane knowing that it's fast for a couple laps, but it really hasn't seemed to be that consistent? Or do you try to stay on the bottom? I always thought the bottom was usually the best place to avoid a wreck, at least if you're the first couple cars in it. If you're further back, I like to be up top. I can see the whole track. It gives me a little bit more time to slow down. Taking the longer way around the track. But Chris Akers put his teammate out in front for a little while. Then he decided to take the lead. Has been dominant since. One second. I do apologize. I was going to say Todd Poston led that other pack up here. Oh, now he's blinking a little bit, actually. He's got Robert Duvendek to his outside. Last season's champion's been helping a lot of people get to the front right now. Hasn't got a lot of help for himself, though, just yet. And this is a big pack, but you see about 4 of them. 4 stragglers, if we'll call them that. Sitting back right now, hoping to avoid a wreck if one does occur. That includes Kenneth Reedinger, the 1 Ronnie Morrison, the 19 Justin Parham. All part of that pack that caught this main pack. A lot of times we'll actually see thinning of the herd as the race goes on. People falling out of the pack. Not the case this run so far. We've seen people catching the pack. Do wish Talladega had a couple more camera angles, but we should be getting some shortly. Ambrose Knievel blinks a little bit. That had to make Danny Eshelman think twice about getting on his bumper into turn 1. We are not seeing as hard of pushing as we've seen from all these guys just yet. Chris Akers, I think he pushes about as hard as he can whenever he is pushing someone. But a lot of these other drivers, they know we still got about 40 laps to go in this race. No point in pushing too aggressive and risking turning yourself or another driver. You did see a little 3-pack of lap cars ahead. I don't think we'll see any 3 wide moves until at least they get past those lappers. I do think we might see some pit stops potentially within the next 10 laps. From what I can calculate on fuel at least. Field starting to line up a little bit up front. Looks like about a 4-car breakaway for the time being. That outside is still there, just not as organized. Usually the tighter the line, the faster they're going to go. And you see the bottom has about 6 cars really tight. Outside doesn't. And this lap pack contains Jay Stinson as one of them. Couldn't tell who else it was just yet. Looks like it is going to be Tyler Hurd, Jay Stinson, and Guy Braco. In this group, about to go right by him. Jay with a lot of damage. I really think he should have used his faster pedal on that last one, but we'll see if it works out for him. Working their way around him, 3 wide. No issues yet. Up for, oh, we got one spinning a little bit. Couldn't tell if he saved it. Oh, he does. What a save. And actually, we're going to see a couple of them pull down pit road. Now they pull back on the track. What just happened? I'm not sure what we just saw. We're going to have to go back and see. I think this was the 2 car, though, of J.R. Schauber that saved it. But before I say it, let's go look. Back this up a little bit here. Sure enough, it was. See what happens. Ambrose Knievel coming down the track. Oh, I think he just misjudged it a little bit. Yeah, Ambrose was trying to tuck in behind the 2. Just barely hooks him in the right rear. The 2 gets loose. Look at his hands, though, ladies and gentlemen. Through that windshield. Working his hands. You see the smoked tires laying down his own tire tracks. Usually when that's the case, you don't save it. Back to the right now. Back to the left. Straightens that thing out. What a save. Nice piece of driving from J.R. Schauber to keep himself in it. I thought maybe they were going to decide to come down to pit here. But no, they just made sure they could safely merge back onto the track right here. Sometimes it gets tempting to dart right back up. A nice job to make sure they did it safely. Didn't get anybody else involved. And that might be the best move of the night in terms of saves at least. We may have had some pit stops here. Pack has broken up. All of a sudden. Did we miss something else? Or did these guys just... Oh, yes. Oh, man. Caution did come back out. So as we were reviewing that caution did come out. That's why we didn't actually hear the spotter say it. Let's see what happened. I was wondering. Chris Akers all of a sudden gapped everybody so much. Let's see here. I don't know where this is going to start. I'm thinking it's going to be a little farther back, though. Let's play it in full speed till we can figure out what happens. Okay, so it wasn't here, so it must have been farther back. I'm thinking it was something with Jay Stinson, potentially. Let's see what goes on with Jay here. Looks like, is he already wrecked here? Oh yeah, we got a couple in the wall over here. So they're 3 wide here going around the 27. It's the 79, the 13. So they get 3 wide going into 1. 27 starting to come up the track, starting to squeeze, but the 79 ultimately is going to come up. Doors the 13. Oh, this is going to get both of them turned around into the inside or the outside wall. Pretty hard hit for Jay. But I think right now maybe he's making me look like the fool. Good thing he didn't take that fast repair, as now he is probably certainly going to need it. That thing has got to be about done. Didn't get any more front end damage though, thankfully, as I don't think there's really much more to get. But that looks like that wreck does collect 3. Oh, the 09 looks like he also got spun and involved in it. Oh, Ambrose Knievel gets tagged. Got another one. Coming back up the track. Sometimes this just happens. But yeah, Alex Giffen. He's got some damage after a strong night for the 09. He's going to have to get that thing repaired. Let's go back live, though. Up front. Your current leader is still Chris Akers in the 4 car. Second, Maverick Baird. Third is going to be J.R. Johnson. Fourth, Todd Poston. And rounding out the top 5 now is Sean Wilder. So you got 2 Max Speed TV drivers in the top 5 for what I know of. At least a couple more of these guys might be. But again, I only do these as I fill in while Bobby's not here. So I'm not exactly sure sometimes of who all is where. Just try to do the best we can. What we got. And let's see how many we got on the lead lap right now. It looks like it's showing 35 cars. Not multiple laps down, but we do have a couple a lap down. They might get the wave around, though, so we'll see what happens. You'll see it on your scoring tower on the left once everybody gets situated. Still has to update a couple times. Looks like Todd Poston, one of the drivers out here, lets us know there's 4 up here in the top 5. Sean Wilder, Chris Akers, we knew those 2 were Max Speed T drivers, but it looks like a couple more here. It says Anthony and JR. So JR Johnson. And then I'm not sure, is Anthony Maverick? Who is Anthony? I'm not sure exactly who Anthony is. But I think we were not quite in the fuel window yet. I don't think these drivers will be able to make it. Will we see another caution, though? With this group and everyone up, it definitely increases the chances for one. Let's see if we take one to green this time. Looks like Todd Poston tells us that he is actually Anthony Poston. And Todd, I thought you were Todd because that is what it was shown in the game, so I do apologize. Todd did do a nice job, though, getting that pack all the way back up here. Looks like we did see some wave arounds. Chris Akers on the apron, maybe saving a little bit of fuel. If they had 100% fuel, they'd be just about right there to make it all the way. They should not be able to make it, though, with what they've got. Gonna have to pit one more time. Chris Akers looks like he was going for the blue cone. Couldn't quite get it. Sean Wilder, you saw this commercial run at the beginning. Facebook group, the Pit Stall, group of sim racers, does a bunch of races. Sean telling me they had prizes, I believe, for winners in those races. Go check them out. We did put the link to the Facebook up in the chat earlier. And don't forget, if you guys are liking what you're seeing tonight, give it a like. Helps us out a lot if you're new. Don't forget to follow. We did hit 400 the other day. Can't thank everybody enough for it. We got a couple exciting things planned. Had an idea in the works to return to some of these viewers what we can, but still in the works for the moment. We got business, though, to deal with tonight. Getting me excited. I think the real race, well, I guess I shouldn't say the real race because we've already seen so much three-wide action throughout the night already. But as much as these guys are going at it right now, once we hit 10 to go, that's when they are really going to go at it. Pace car is going to pull off. Now let's ride on board for this restart. With Todd Poston in that outside line. See if he can get the run on the backstretch to get him all the way to the front. Green flag is back out. Looks like Chris Akers gets a good jump. It's all going to matter, though, is what happens on the backstretch here. We'll see what he can do. Gets to the 111 here pretty early. Ooh, you see the run already starting to form before they even get off the turn. Who gets to whose bumper first? Todd gets just a little side draft here off the 73. Oh, he had to burp the throttle to get out of it. Not going to be able to get up there. Actually jumped in line. So maybe he wasn't looking to go all the way to the lead right now, but rather just get himself in line. He knows we still got a lot of laps. We did just hit the halfway mark. He's going to get in here, try to log some laps. J.R. Johnson, though, right now pushing your leader in the 4. Chris Akers, got to be careful pushing through the trial. It usually doesn't work too well. Chris Akers still out front. Seems to be the Pied Piper of these super speedways, kind of like a Dale Jr. When he gets in front, a lot of people like to follow him when he's behind you. He is a good pusher. That 111 of Maverick on the outside gets some help from the 7 of Rodney Roberts, who we haven't seen. We've seen him up here a couple times tonight, but haven't talked about him. And he's got Danny Eshelman behind him. These three are going to try to go put a fight to the 4 of Chris Akers. Usually it seems like at Talladega, the outside line can really get some momentum working, but that just hasn't been the case so far tonight. That inside has been pretty dominant. Chris Akers was working the outside with his teammate Sean Wilder earlier. But since then, he's taken the inside and kind of held it there. But here comes a huge run from the outside. The 111 gets clear. Will he drop down? Going to try to pull the 7 with him. Can't quite do it, but he is going to drop down either way. Wow, what a move from the 111 and the 7 of Rodney Roberts. Now Danny Eshelman's going to try it. It looked like JR maybe had a little bobble in the trial. Had to get out of it just a little bit. Right at that same time, the 7 and the 11 had a head of steam and absolutely flew by in a short shoot to turn 1. And your new leader is Maverick Baird in the 111. And I don't think that outside is going to make that much progress for a little bit. That 7 gave him one heck of a shot, especially now with Chris Akers in the prime position for pushing. Maverick's going to have to hold on here. He's going to have 32 more laps to hold on to it this time around. See the 32, Todd Poston. Let's look farther back here. See who we got. The 14. It's Adam Kilday up here in the mix. But behind him, the driver who had the save of the night, J.R. Schomburg. The 48 of Matthew Fritz still has damage on the front end, but I don't think he's used his fast repair yet. So that's good news for him. If we get a late caution, he'll go in there, take it, and have a fast car. Robert Jordan, Alex Giffen, Jeff Carl, Joseph Fogg, all these drivers up here. Let's see how big this pack is right now. How many drivers do we still have in it? Actually, it looks like it does end. Tyler Hurd, Jay Stinson. You see that car all cleaned up, so he did use his fast repair. This is a big pack. Oh, it looks like the 56, that's Tyler Clemens, is going to come down to the pits this time. Little surprised he decided to pit. Josh Vega. Incident early back out here with a clean car, though, on the lead lap. Or sorry, no, a lap down, rather. Couple laps down, rather. Scoring has been a little bit weird for me tonight. Just going to have to make sure we look at the tower instead of the actual driver's thing. But yeah, Josh Vega is 3 laps down. Do have 31 cars on the lead lap. Maverick still leading the charge up front. We see a little bit of 3 wide from the 1. That's Ronnie Morrison. 27 thought about sliding up. Was going to be a little late. I had to go back down. The 2 of J.R. Schomburg is going to also follow up top. And it looks like the 09 further back of Alex Giffen. 3 cars is all you need. The more, the better. The 27, I think he's thinking about hopping up, to be honest. That'd be Kyle Clark. He's got Matthew Fritz on his bumper. Matthew giving him all he can give him right now with that damage card. Always seems like if you have damage in the front end, you got to push a little harder, because if you let off, it's a lot harder and takes a lot longer to get back up to speed than if your car didn't have any damage. This front pack is still really big. They haven't exactly tightened up yet. If we were within, say, 20 to go, promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this pack would be a lot tighter right now, but everybody keeping it spaced out in case something happens. How about Joey Hickox back here in 30th? The 31 car still trying to crawl his way back up. Oh, we're going to see a couple pit stops here. See if they all make it in clean. Looks like Chris Akers, one of them. Oh, we got one in the grass. That was J.R. Johnson. Keeps it together. And these drivers are actually in the fuel window. Because when I actually did the exact calculator, it looked like it said 28.8 laps at 80% fuel. So I think these drivers are good from here. This is like really early, but the earlier you pit, you get with your teammates, you can tick off some really fast laps. And I think that's what they're going to try to do. We'll have to see who else decides to pit this time. Usually once one of them comes in, it draws in a lot of others. Got to make sure you get in cleanly, though, if you do pit. If you mess up at all, it's going to cost you big time. And sure enough, here comes Maverick. Wow, he got in there hot. I don't know if he's going to make it okay. Oh, he's got it locked up. Not sure if he quite got in safely. Looks like everybody is able to avoid any incident, though. J.R. Johnson may have had to come back in. Speeding penalty is what it's looking like. These guys all getting back up to speed, and we will watch the pit cam to see who wins the race out here and to see how this other pack fares out. Maverick, I think, did have a potential incident. We'll go back and look at it here, but first let's see how this battle pans out. Maverick does win the race off pit road. If he has no penalty, he'll be in a good spot. See JR now, and there's that other pack being led by Chris Akers. We'll see if they have enough to pass this group. They're going to go right by the 19 of Justin Parham and the 7. No issues here. Getting up to speed is always the hardest part. You're hoping on everything that you can just keep that draft. Let's see if anybody else decides to pit this time. No takers that time from the front, at least. Let's look at the pit cams. Yep, doesn't look like anyone did decide to go in. Let's go to Chris Akers here. You see they cleared that group behind him with no issues. It looks like maybe only a couple cars were able to actually keep onto that draft. So a lot of those guys are going to have to try to really link up quick and get up to this group before it is too late. Robert Dubendak, I do believe, might be a max speed TV driver. I'm not sure, though. Let me know in the chat if I'm incorrect. Whether he is or isn't, he played the right strategy, pitting with some of these super fast guys. Now he's got himself up here. Looks like Mark Vega also able to catch on the draft. He's got someone behind him. Let's see who this was. It looks like Maverick Baird. We did have another group going to pit Or actually, not yet, rather. I think we just had a couple stragglers. Yep, here we go. You see them right here. This group was running a little bit towards the back of that pack. Looks like they're all going to get in cleanly. One thing you don't want to do is come to pit road by yourself. Worst thing you can do, especially at these plate tracks. And also, you want to watch your gaps. If you are losing time, you need to get yourself in the pit and get out. You don't want to stay out there losing time to a group who's already pit and good to go for the rest of the race. But watch it here. You'll see that main pack come flying by here momentarily. There they are. This group easily going to get past. Not going to be able to get up to speed in time. See if Danny Eshelman decides to pit this time. This group might be trying to run the long strategy and just run it out until it's empty. In fact, I think that is what they're doing. So I would have thought they would have decided to pit by now. But what we'll go ahead and do is we'll look at the lap times by these different leaders of each pack if we can. And you see it here, Danny Eshelman, the leader of this pack. Look at lap 43 and lap 44, ladies and gentlemen. 51.047 and 51.054. Remember those two numbers. Now we'll go back to the leader of the second pack, Chris Akers. 50.785. And we'll see what lap he runs this time, but that is all about 3/10 quicker, so they are absolutely flying in this back pack. The gap right now is 28 seconds, but they are closing over a second a lap. The speed they're going. 50.4 that time. This group absolutely flying. They keep it up right now. It doesn't matter what this first group does. They're not going to be able to beat them. Right now they're just losing time. Once they pit and they come back out, they will be way behind this group. I think they really got to pit as soon as they can. See if we can actually look at the speeds. Ambrose Knievel, you see here, 184, 185. See if he can get down the straightaway. That's where the most pushing happens. Ambrose looks like he does have a teammate of Carl Lingle behind him. Jay Stinson, Hickox Motorsports driver behind those two. And up front right now is the lap car of Tyler Hurt. However, Tyler not actually a lap down just yet. He is the last car on the lead lap, trying to hold where he is so he wouldn't have to get the lucky dog. He'd be where he is if they were to draw a caution. 28 cars on the lead lap right now. So we saw 184, 185. Let's see what Chris Akers, or whoever actually, in fact, is leading the second pack now is running. See if it's Chris. No, it's actually went up to Todd Poston. Look at the speed difference. 188, 189, 90. Down the backstretch. 191, 92. These guys are absolutely moving. That speed difference tells you all you need to know. If you don't like looking at the times, just look at the speed. And we're going to see a move here on the outside from Jay Stinson and Kenneth Riedinger in the 24. And this racing is just making their situation worse. Jay trying to do everything he can. Is currently a lap down, but if he can pass these guys, he'd get one back. So is Kenneth Riedinger. Jay, yeah, both of those two actually. So that is why they're trying to do this. If they can get by, they wouldn't have to worry about fighting each other for the lucky dog. Help each other. Even if only one of them gets up here in the lead, then the other one would guarantee themselves a lucky dog instead of these two having to fight for it. So I really like this strategy from these two. However, this is hurting drivers such as Ambrose Knievel, Carl Lingle, Danny Eshelman, as they are just continuing to lose time. Todd Poston has the gap down to 21 seconds to Frank Ranger Jr. And then the lead pack, they've got it down to 29 seconds. And that gap's still closing really quickly. Remember, if you were a little confused on the way I said it, it was 28 seconds to the first pack that they were catching, and that gap was closing in a hurry. It was over 30-something seconds to this main pack, but that has closed down multiple seconds over just the last couple laps. And as we approach 22 to go here at Talladega, when are they going to pit? Not able to make it the rest of the way on field. Doesn't matter how hard they decide to save. They're going to have to pit at some point. Will we see another caution? I'm not sure. We are going to take one more commercial break real quick, and then we'll be back to catch the rest of the action. Stick with us.
We are the place where the toughest drivers will come to race from far and wide. But just who are we? We are the Pit Stall Racing Series.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talladega Superspeedway here in the NOMA Superspeedway Series, presented by Manny Rays. We got 19 laps to go. Todd Poston trying to chase down the main pack. He's got a couple guys to fend off himself, though. We see a charge now from the 111 of Maverick Baird. You got to remember, this group right here is going to be the race for the win. These guys up front, such as Ambrose Knievel, Danny Eshelman, Carl Lingle, Frank Ranger Jr., they are all going to have to pit still. The real battle, though, starts with this 32 car. He's got his teammate Sean Wilder and Chris Akers behind him, but on the outside we see the 111 Maverick Baird, the 66 Randy Bonomi, Mark A. Vega. Then we see a couple drivers such as Joey Hickox not actually in this battle for the lead, if you will, but as a lap car, he is still playing a factor in all this. I'm looking, make sure I didn't misspeak on that. Yeah, Joey is a lap down. But this is important because these lap cars are fighting for a couple things. First, they're going to be fighting to get the lucky dog if they can't get it at the end. They're going to be fighting to get these guys to race, maybe bring out a caution if they get a little too racy. They're also going to maybe help some teammates that are around them. Best thing about having teammates is even when you're a lap down, you can still have a good day by getting your teammate a win or something. Just depends on the situation. Jay Stinson, though, running in that lead pack with Ambrose Knievel. Ambrose running behind that lap car. Well, what would be a lap car if he has to pass him of Tyler Hurt is helping him with fuel mileage, but he can only go for so long before he's going to have to pit. Robert Duvendak behind Mark Vega. Last couple cars in this lead pack. You got Alex Giffen in the next pack. So a lot of different action going on around the track. But we are slowly starting to wind down on the end of this thing. And if you are in this backpack right now, I think your main goal has to be to run the fastest times you can until that front group does pit. Once they pit, I think we're going to see these guys get even more raciers. Joey Hickox on the outside trying to get around. Oh, Randy Bonomi got really wiggly. Almost got into the right side of Sean Wilder. That would have piled them all up. Not what they would like to see right now. That got really close and really scary for a minute. If Joey can get around, though, this 32, that would put him back on the lead lap once those other guys decide to pit. Now the 91 of Sean Wilder thinks about going high. Can't do it. It's going to back up. Maybe getting a little hot. At the end here, I think teammates might go out the window with as small of a pack as we would probably have for the battle for the lead. But let's go back up front. These guys still running. How long are they going to go before they decide to pit? Gotta think they're only going to go. I think at this point they're just hoping maybe they can get a caution before they decide to go in. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. This is that different strategy play. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You either usually want to pit as early as you can or just hope for the caution as late as you can. But because of that strategy, they have lost a ton of time. These guys that are running real fast back here. Sean Wilder now takes the lead. Todd Poston fell back. Few spots to 111. Maverick Baird drops the line. Chris Akers now tandem up with his teammate. They work their way into the tri-oval, coming to 15 to go for them. Up front, we are on 15 to go still. And we can see what the gap looks like. Actually, now from Sean Wilder to Carl Lingle, it's 23 seconds. You might think, well, that's still a long ways to go. It might be. But that front group hasn't pit yet, and that gap started out as over 30 seconds. They have made up 10 to 15 seconds at least on that group. And running that fast, that first group is going to lose a lot of track position once they finally do decide to pit. Danny Eshelman has retained the lead from Ambrose Knievel. You see him getting pushed with a lap car of Jay Stinson on the outside. The 98 of Jeff Carl's trying to get in on some of the action as well. Looks like also up there is the 5 of John Bell, who we haven't really said anything about either tonight. Give John a shout out, even though not on the lead lap. Out here trying anyway. Still no pit stop just yet. Ambrose. Oh, we got one in the wall hard. Oh, the 6. Huge hit. That's Danny Eshelman. Caution is out. This is going to change everything. And that car is destroyed. Somehow gets it rolling now. But with 13 to go, the strategy is going to work out for drivers such as Ambrose Kniebel, Carl Lingold. Not going to work out, though, for Danny Eshelman. He is going to have to use a faster pair. Let's watch this. This was a hard hit. Working into the trial here. Let's go to TV1. Jay Stinson maybe turns down on him here. I couldn't tell. Oh, actually, the 6 bobbles. This is going to be a little farther back. Let's see here. So Jay is going to, looks like, gives the 6 maybe. Oh, yeah, it gives the 6 a little bump in the trial. Usually, no. Gets the 6 a little loose, coming back up and down at the same time. They make contact. This sends the 6 up and watch this hit. Boom! 13 gets under him. That car gets up on its side. Pirouettes, a couple times. Bouncing off the pavement. Flips down into the Geico restart zone. That had to be a wild ride for Danny Eshelman. Let's go take a look at it. We can actually maybe get a hint of what happened here as well. This is just an incident of what happens sometimes when you tap a guy in the trial. Well, usually cars can't really handle being pushed there. Let's ride on board with Danny, see what he sees. Here we go. Wow, that's a brutal hit from Danny. That one will make you dizzy. But as you saw there, Danny had the wheel turned back to the left. But when you're on old tires like this, that little bump that he took. Oh no, what happened up here? Hold on one sec, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, Ambrose has stopped here on the back. That's what I was just questioning because I saw it. We'll look at this in a second. But that little bump that he got from Jay in the trial got him a little out of shape. When the tires are this old, you can't really just straighten the car back out in the turns. You kind of got to wiggle it. Unfortunately, didn't really have room. You saw him and Jay make more contact, send him right up into the wall. And Ambrose Kniebel has came to a stop off the track. Let's see where this, if any, we can get any indication of what happened to the 04 here. He might just be waiting for the pace car. That's going to be my guess. Not sure, though. It was cockpit here. You hear him just kind of coasting. So, not sure what happened to the 04 unless he was waiting for the pace car. Let's see if he's back rolling. He is not. He is still slowly cruising. Now he gets it backfired. So, I think that's what it was. If you're just joining in, though, you joined in at the right time. We are going to be going green with about 10 to go. You see Carl Lingo also waiting on the pace car. Pit stops are done with. The racing action is about to really start heating up. Who wants it the most? Chris Akers was dominant for a while, but him and his teammate Sean Wilder have both been strong all night. Nancy Hickox asked, is Ambrose Kniebel out of fuel? He is not. You see him up to speed now. Like I said, I'm pretty sure him and Carl Lingo were just indeed waiting on the pace car because you see Carl is still stopped here in the trialable. Sometimes iRacing mixes up the scoring, can confuse the drivers a little bit. Let's go to pit road to see if we're missing anything there right now. Doesn't look like it. Looks like we do currently have, actually we can take a look. If you look at your tower there on the left, your scoring tower rather, you'll see that we still have 28 cars on the lead lap. Your current top 5 as they sit is Mr. Carl Lingle first. Second is Ambrose Kniebel. The strategy for both of these two, important to note, did work out. They were staying out hoping for a caution. They got it. They are going to have to pit, though, so that top 5 is going to change up. You see Ambrose working his way down the pits now. So that's going to put Carl Lingo first, Sean Wilder second, third, Chris Akers, the Reese's Machine, fourth, Maverick Baird, and fifth is going to be Todd Poston, also known as Anthony from what I am hearing. It's been a great night of racing so far. If we can give you a little recap, had a couple cautions early, and then we had this really long green flag run. Came to an end with a caution. Danny Eshleman and Jay Stinson got together. The 6 took a really hard shot into the wall. Shouldn't end his night, though. Danny should have a fast pair. Unfortunately, that is going to end the night for Jay. Yeah, you see that car all tore up. He did already use his faster pair. Rough night for the driver of the 13. Rough night in general so far for Hickox Motorsports. Joey also not been up front at all yet. I think he did get back on the lead lap, though, if I'm correct. We'll have to see. You can see it on your scoring tower there on the left. No, it is still showing Joey a lap down. So Joey may still be a lap down. We'll have to see if it updates. Matthew Fritz, though. Not sure if he's used that fast pair. It sure doesn't look like it. Alex Giffen. Frank Ranger Jr. And there's Danny Eshleman, who was just involved in that big wreck. Car all cleaned up now. Did use the faster pair on it. Chris Akers going to be lining up on the outside with his teammate on the inside. He's got another teammate behind him. And I think now it's time to go. I know you want to help your teammates. But with what's only going to be 10 laps to go as the pace car lights are off this time, I think it's go time. We are going to see 3 wide a lot quicker. Will we see anything about 4 wide? I don't know yet. We'll have to find out. You are watching the NOMA SS Superspeedway Series presented by Manny Rays here on Ghost Racing Network. Bobby is out today, so the Green Ghost is filling in for him for tonight. It's been a great night of racing. This is what you get when you watch some of the best in iRacing go at it. That's what the NOMA drivers bring to the table. Sean Wilder got to be hungry for a win. So is Chris Akers, so dominant throughout a lot of last year. Can't forget about Robert Duvendak, last year's champion. He's also hungry. We'll see what he can do in that 99 car. Pace car takes a hard left turn to pit road. It might be the final green flag. We'll have to see. The 91 rolling into the box now. Green flag is back out. 10 laps to go here at Talladega. Who's going to win it? Looks like the 91 gets a better restart, but he's got no help behind him. Meanwhile, Chris Akers has his teammate in the 32 already on his bumper. Everybody dives into turn 1. That 4 car's going to get a lot of help here. They will easily get clear on the backstretch, but now they 111 gets down. That's Maverick Baird going to try to keep the 91 out in front. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Ooh, you see the 4. Gets a big run. He gets clear. The 91, sure enough, not going to waste any time. He drops down. That opens it up to Todd Poston on the top lane. He's going to have the 66 of Randy Bonomi pushing him. The 74, that's Robert Jordan in third. What can he do? Sean Wilder now going to have to just push his teammate. Not really anywhere to go. Who's going to make the 3 wide move first? We're coming to 9 to go this time. Time's starting to run out. If you're some of these drivers further back and into the tribal, there you see it. The 1, Ronnie Morrison, jumps to the top lane. So does the 2. That's J.R. Schomburg. The 27 also up top, Kyle Clark. And just like that, they are 3x3 farther back. The front 4 better get ready. Front 6 rather. These guys are going to be having a head of steam once they all get linked up. Up front though, on the inside, it's still those 3 cars of Chris Akers, Sean Wilder, Maverick Baird. Into turn 3, the 32, Todd Poston, almost got clear of his teammate. I know he'd like to. He'd probably drop down. Can't do it, though. Here comes the top lane being led by Mark A. Vega. He's got Robert Duvendak on his bumper. Side by side out of turn 4. 3x3 through pretty much the entire field now. We saw some gaps earlier. Not really the case right now. Everybody tightening up. We see 4 wide farther back. They settle it back out to 3. Take a look at the gearbox from Maverick Baird. You see just how chaotic it is. He's looking at the 30 of Carl Lingle. Randy Bonomi thinking about jumping to the top lane. Thinks twice about it. He's trying to get this 32 out in front. 8 laps to go. You still got to manage your temps. You can't quite go all out just yet. And that 8 of Marque Vega, he's got a really good pusher, and Robert Duvendak behind him. If he can get clear, will he decide to drop to the middle or keep it where he is? That bottom, though, really looking strong right now with the 2 teammates from Max Speed TV linked up. Don't know if anyone has it for, but now Sean Wilder jumps to the middle, leaves his teammate. Did not see that move coming. Now here comes the 32, his other teammate of Todd Poston. Mark A. Vega still up top. Can't get the run just yet. Now the 8 gets a big shot from the 99. Into turn 1, 3x3. Saw a little smoke. Not sure what it's from. Nothing in the main pack. Oh, we got one wrecking back here, though. Big wreck out back. Looks like it's going to collect a couple of them pretty hard into the wall. Caught it right out of the last camera view, it looked like. And this one's going to collect a couple of them. Somebody is really tore up. Can't tell who this is just yet. Oh, that's Adam Kilday. He is going to have to use a fast repair if he has one. Let's go see what brings out the 4th caution of the night. Yeah, you see it smoking now. Let's see. This is further back. So we saw smoke here. This is what I wasn't really sure what it was. This smoke is just either something in general or something that happened farther back. I'm trying to look here, see if I can figure out what this is. Well, this might be a John Bell crash. Let's see here. So they had a couple different things happen during this stretch. This is what I got a notification on initially. Oh, yep, there it is, the 5 spinning down. So that was the initial smoke. So this is a lap before. Nice save, though, by John. Keeps from getting too much damage. And this is where the wreck ensues. Oh, you had one up on the fence there. So we're going to try to take a look where this starts if we can. Let's look towards the middle, towards back. Oh, the 25 in the middle lane. Back car goes up, tags the 09, turns him right around. Down into the 37. 43, Robert Morrison. Nowhere to go. Back up hard into the 14. Oh, wow. The 14 gets upside down into the catch fence. And that is where all that damage probably came from. That collects a couple of them. Looks like that might be J.R. Johnson involved. Somebody sneaks through that. Ooh, that was nicely done. I can't tell who that is. It looks like the 50. 50, is that the 54? Yeah, that is the 54 of Scott Collins. Sneaking through that. Nice job. But let's ride on board here with the 14. He also went for a wild ride. We've seen a couple of these so far tonight. A lot of guys been involved in some crazy wrecks. Let's see what Adam Kilday experienced in this one. And that just looked like an incident of 3 wide late in the race. He just came up a little bit. Just that little touch, though, is all it really takes. Let's see what Adam saw before it maybe ended his night. Oh, and it looked like he was doing a pretty good job trying to sneak through it. Got tagged up into the fence and then slides down. Yeah, and that car, as I said, just absolutely totaled. Let's go back live, though. Your current leader, Chris Akers in the 4 car. Second, Sean Wilder. We saw him making a move. That might be important as it is going to put him on the outside for this restart. Mark A. Vega, 3rd. 4th is Maverick Baird. And rounding out the top 5 is Todd Poston in the 32. But Robert Duvendak just outside the top 5, and so is Randy Bonomi. And it is going to be, I believe, a 3-lap shootout. Assuming the pace car does turn his lights off next time. Let's see who's on pit road. We do have a car back there. You could looks like it's pretty damaged. If that is the 14 still, he's going to have to get in and get that repaired unless he just doesn't have one anymore. And sure enough. Oh, no, no, Adam Kilday did get his repaired. Not sure if it was actually just glitching out a little bit for me then. Ambrose Knievel back here, the 37. Joseph Falk, he was involved in that. Joey Hickox on pit road. Doesn't have damage. But he is still on pit road here. Maybe going to take some tires and make sure he's good on fuel. Nice looking Flatwoods paint scheme on the 31 car. See what else we got. Looks like Raymond asked if we can show the 74's hood. Absolutely. Let's see what we're looking at here on Robert Jordan. And there you go. Talked about it. You saw it in the top a couple times. NOMA Superspeedway Series presented by Manny Rays. You see it all over the hood there of Robert Jordan. Looks like he's been through a little bit this race. Car has a pretty good amount of damage actually on the back of it. Yeah, it looks like he backed in to a concrete pillar or something. But the front end looks clean, and that is the most important part. Nancy asks, Joey got his lap back. Well, he sure did. Joey Hickox now the last car on the lead lap. So he may have gotten lucky dog considering he was in the pits. Usually you can't pit if you were the wave around. So I'm going to go with Joey Hickox may have got the lucky dog. Let's see if I can actually pull it up here. Checking a couple things here. And it looks like it's not showing me exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking Joey did indeed get the lucky dog though, because normally you can't pit unless you do get the lucky dog. Otherwise, it'll penalize you a black flag that you would have to serve. Not even something like go to the back. But pace car lights are off this time, so we are going to go green. It's going to be a 3-lap shootout to decide it. I thought these teammates might play a little nicer with each other. But Sean Wilder wants to win. Chris Akers, he wants to win. I don't think they're going to be too helpful of each other. Todd Poston, I'm sure he also wants to win. Robert Duvendak, Maverick Baird, your pole sitter. He's been up here all night. Some of these guys we got in the top 10. Ronnie Morrison, Carl Lingle, we talked about him. Robert Jordan just outside the top 10. And I think anybody within the top 15 has a shot at it. Anyone in the top 5 has a real good shot at it. Mark A. Vega going below the apron, maybe saving a little bit of fuel, depending on when he decided to last pit. If we start going into some overtimes here, I believe from what I read, it was 3 green-white checkers. Hoping we don't have any, though. Hopefully we get one of those classic super speedway finishes side by side at the line. Those were the most exciting. And what does Mark A. Vega try to do here? He knows Chris Aker isn't going to jump up top if he gets him clear. Does he try to get him clear enough where he can jump up top in that 8 car? In the 111, if he can get a good restart, he can get Sean Wilder to jump down in front of his teammate, maybe get himself a chance at the win. We're going to find out here. 3 laps, NOMA Superspeedways presented by Manny Ray's Style. Who's going to win it all? Chris Akers on the bottom, Sean Wilder up top, Mark A. Vega second row. Maverick Bird, green flag is back out one more time. Chris Akers got a really good jump this time, but that means he's going to get no help from Mark Vega. Here comes the 91, Sean Wilder. He's got Maverick Baird in towed. Maverick Baird, rather. Ooh, they both got to the bumper pretty evenly. This is going to be a dead heat down the backstretch. The outside's got a little bit of momentum. This is going to be the most important lap to get it. The 91 gets a huge shot from the 111. He does get cleared. What does he do with it? He drops down right in front of his teammate. That opens it up to the 111 on the outside. 3 wide further back. Looks like Ronnie Morrison's going to push the 2 of J.R. Schomburg. If we make it to the white flag, no more cautions. Through turn 4. 2 back speed TV drivers on the bottom. Maverick up top being pushed by Robert Duvendak, who has now made his way into the top 5 in the 99. We'll see if he decides to go 3 wide or stay tucked in line. We're coming to 2 laps to go this time. Looks like it might have been a 3 wide move a little bit farther back. Sure enough, that's going to be the 7 car. Rodney Roberts tries to jump to the top lane. Get a little bit of help for a moment from JR. Now he drops back down low. The 7's going to fall back in a hurry if he can't find anybody to go with him. What does Robert Duvendak try to do? Still all the inside row. Chris Akers absolutely locked onto his teammate right now. Mark Vega. See him getting out of the throttle, making sure he doesn't accidentally make contact with any of these guys. If we make it to the white flag this time, that means no more cautions. Can we do it? Sean Wilder in prime position. That 111, can he get any momentum going before we get to the end? The outside, here they come. Into the trial. Chris Akers still doing a really good job keeping his teammate out in front. White flag this time. One more lap at Talladega. They now draw dead even. Further back, we see 3 wide. Nobody getting it going just yet. Into turn 1, still, or out of turn 2, still side by side. Sean Wilder trying to hold off. Can Chris Akers do it? Hold his teammate out in front. The 111's getting a huge push. Now we see 3 wide from the 2 car. 3 by 3, no help on the outside lane. This is going to be a race between the middle and the bottom right now. Out of turn 4, Sean Wilder still has the lead. Maverick Baird going to try to make one more push at it up top. Into the tribal for the final time. Chris Akers, he's locked on the 91. They're wrecking out back. Here they come, though, to the line. It's going to be a drag race. It's going to go to the 91. Sean Wilder wins it in dramatic fashion as they all wreck in the background. What a finish and what a win. Gonna be thanking his Max Speed TV teammate Chris Akers for getting him the win on that one. In a close second though was Maverick Baird. Wow, what a finish tonight. They kept it clean all the way to the finish in the front. And we are certainly going to be going to get interviews from your top three, including this man right here. Boy, they never disappoint, do they? Wow, what a finish. And while he is doing his burnout, let's take a look at your results tonight. Let's pull up the race results. Coming in first tonight, as you saw there, was Sean Wilder. Second is going to go to Maverick Baird. Third place, Max Speed TV teammate of Sean Wilder, Chris Akers. And fourth is going to be Robert Duvendak. Fifth, Mark A. Vega. Sixth, Todd Poston. Seventh, it's going to be Ronnie Morrison. Eighth, Randy Bonomi. Ninth, Carl Lingle. 10th, J.R. Schomburg. 11th, Robert Jordan. 12th, Kyle C. Clark. 13th, Matthew Fritz. 14th, Ambrose Kniebel. 15th, James Scamordella. 16th, Rodney Roberts. 17th, Justin Parham. 18th, Frank Ranger Jr. 19th is going to go to Joseph Fogg. 20th, it's going to be Adam Kilday. 21st, Robert E. Morrison. 22nd, DJ Mattis. 23rd, Joey Hickox. 24th, Danny Eshelman. 25th, Edward W. Smith. 26th, Guy Braco. 27th, Alex Giffen. 28th, Kenneth Riedinger. 29th, J.R. Johnson. 30th, John Bell. 31st, Scott Collins. 32nd, Jeff Carl. 33rd, Tyler Clemens. 34th, Josh Vega. 35th, Adam Kolowiski. 36th, Tyler Hirth. And rounding out the field tonight in 37th is Jay Stinson. Let's go see if we can get interviews for some of these drivers real quick. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have found your top three. First, we're going to start with your third place finisher tonight, Chris Akers. Chris, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, first of all, man, that was certainly an exciting finish. You pushed your teammate to the win. How does it feel? I know coming home third, maybe not the win, but man, you did a sure of a nice job pushing. How'd you get it done?
Just brung the house there at the end. I didn't care if it was my teammate or not. I just I knew he was going to go for that win, and I knew that we were going to at least get third out of that as a team, and we got the job done right at the end. I knew nobody else was going to outpush us on the bottom, and we were going to take that one home easily.
You certainly were the pusher of the night, and my vote. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I want to give a shout out to you for picking up the broadcast. First and foremost, enjoy watching it, and I want to give a shout out to Bobby. Hope everything's all right for him. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. And shout out for him for sponsoring the team, and shout out to the team for doing excellent tonight. JR got caught up in a little pit road issue, where he'd been right there with us. And congrats on the 6th to Todd, and hell of a win, Sean. You the man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your third place finisher, Chris Akers. Now we're going to move on to your second place finisher, Maverick Baird. Maverick, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, buddy. How you doing?
Good. I'm really good, man. That was such an exciting finish. I'm sitting here trying to give you guys an interview without losing my cool. First of all, I thought you were going to get the win there right at the end. You couldn't quite squeak it out, but you came home second. What more did you need there on that
Yeah.
last lap?
He did a great job, man. You know what I mean? It's just, it was super tight. So, I gave it all I got, and the guy who was pushing me, he gave it all he's got. So, did a great job.
All right, well,
Yep.
before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, Dr. Painting and Power Washing and NOMA's Racing League. They put up a pretty good series, and yeah. So,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that
About
was
it,
your
buddy.
second place finisher, Maverick Baird. Congrats to
oh,
Maverick.
yes. Yes, that was a good race, man. I had to do a lot of pushing to keep myself up there. You know what I mean? Because I got no teammates or nothing like that. So that was the only way for me to kind of control it.
Yeah, man, you did a really nice job. I thought you were going to steal it right at the end. Just a little bit more next time.
All right, man. You all have a blessed one.
Thank you. Second place finisher, Maverick Baird. Now we'll move on to your winner, the man of the hour, Sean Wilder. Sean, you got a copy?
I do, Austin.
Well, Sean, I talked to you just a little bit via message before the race, but you got it done tonight, so here I am talking to you again. Looked like your teammate got you the win right at the end. How'd you get the win, though, overall tonight? Stayed up front.
Yeah, that's a big shout out to the Max Speed TV team. That's some great teamwork there. We were discussing our pits. We all went down together. Unfortunately, JR had a little issue, but just great teamwork between Todd and Chris and JR. It was pretty awesome.
Well, it was certainly awesome to watch. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Well, we want to shout out to you for covering for Bobby. Want to shout out to Bobby. Hope everything's okay with him. I want to say thank you to him for sponsoring our team. Want to give a shout out to the pit stall guys and the NOMA League. That's why we do this, is for races like this. They put on an awesome show every week, and I really enjoy racing with these guys. And of course, I want to shout out to Chris Akers, because he was giving me those bumps just right as I needed them.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win, man. Enjoy it. That is your first place finisher tonight, Sean Wilder in the 91. And I think he pretty much summed it up there for you guys. He said it was exciting. Thanked his teammate. Teamwork, the name of the game, especially for some of these super speedway races. But Max Speed TV was pretty dominant tonight. So not too surprised to see one of them come home with it. But really nice job all night from the 91 of Sean Wilder to stay up. Before we let everybody go, just a couple reminders here. Go ahead and get these results off. Go over here, taking a look at the schedule. We are hoping Bobby will be back, so it will probably be over on Max Speed TV. But next week will be an off week for NOMA, presented by Manny Superspeedway Series. And then after that, they go to iRacing Superspeedway. And then back at Talladega, the third race after that will be Daytona. And then you see the rest after that. We do want to thank everybody, I guess I should say first, for tuning in tonight. If you did like what you see, make sure you give us a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. And if you're new here, go ahead and give us a follow if you don't mind. Ghost Racing Network will be back tomorrow with our first official league broadcast, if you will. That is the first league that will have the Green Ghost broadcasting for them. And we're really excited for that. It'll be the Fast Track Cup Series, the Daytona Clash. So hopefully everybody tuning in tonight is back around for that. That is all I got, though. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I hope everyone did enjoy it, and we will see you next time.